How many guys did you kiss in different guys did you kiss in one day?
It was one day I kissed a few at one time. Not at the same time, but back-to-backs.
But this is a day where he, was like in the morning, hello, nice to meet you, clothes off, in bed. Another guy in the afternoon, hello, nice to meet you, clothes off. And I looked at him after that day was done and went, dude, you got a crazy job.
You are absolutely a person worth loving.
I think it gets better with age.
Up until this job, I had spent a decade or so doing gigs that were as removed from myself as possible. Not with that intention, but just I liked sort of transformational roles. So I went from like Barney Stinson to some theater stuff to Count Olaf to Hedwig, and I thought it was fun to play as many different versions of me that were nothing like me. And so I had done that, and then the notion of playing a sort of nuanced comedy version of a life that's very similar to my own in certain ways, same location as where I live, same length of relationship that I'm currently in, but now it's totally like different. How would I, as Neil, in a subtler way, respond to a whole new world?
The tension in your shoulders is off the charts. What's going on?
I took my clothes and some things and I moved out.
Yeah, it's a real challenge to reconcile the behavior of a guy who breaks up with his partner of 17 years with absolutely no explanation. I mean, what kind of guy does that? And yet that's exactly what Colin does. And, ordinarily in a breakup comedy, the couple breaks up, the ex is a jerk, and the hero moves forward and lives happily ever after, 90 minutes later. But this is a different show. I think it's Uncoupled is about an uncoupling and all that goes along with that. So while we follow the hero, Neil, we see the ripple effect to his family and his friends, to his ex, what they all go through, because it's not just one individual that experiences the breakup. So I think what Jeff and Darren have done is written a more layered, more interesting show about what a breakup actually is, but at the same time, it's funny.
Hello, Michael.
That's Claire Lewis.
Hey. God, why are you jumping up at me like that? The second I walk in the door, gives me flashbacks when I had to raise my children.
The fact that the boys wrote this angry woman so richly, and there was this one day, do you guys remember that we were on set one day, and the angrier she got, the less elevated my accent was. She sort of starts like, hello, Michael.
Yes.
But the angrier we got, the more suddenly she was like, he's an Amagansett. And we were like, oh my God. We've just discovered she has a background that's nothing like you would expect. She went to Vassar, but she came from Brooklyn or Queens. And it was so much fun to just be on a set that allowed for that. That no one was coming up and going, by the way, you would say Amagansett.
I think one of the beautiful things is that Darren and Jeffrey wrote Billy in this wonderful way, but also left a lot of space for me to come in and kind of fill out the edges, fill out, some of the margins on what I guess would make a even more exciting or engaging character.
Let's get out here and show these boys what you got.
3 vodka sodas, please. What do you guys want?
Billy's great because he's the friend that everybody wants to have. The supportive friend when you're down, the one that's going to pick you up when you're feeling low, the one that's going to tell you you look great when you maybe don't look so great. And when you're halfway explaining to Billy with his open ear how you're feeling, he's probably going to stop listening to you and start checking his phone. But that's okay too, because
Or the mirror.
he's going to be there with you. He's the guy by your side.
After 17 years,
My boyfriend told me he was leaving me.
What? After you?
Yup.
And he kept saying,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm officially out of the fan club.
We had a lot of fun on the show. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of beautiful work. And I felt like for the first time, like really being a part of a production that had so much amazing support, like everybody understood the assignment. Everybody was there to do great work. I mean, being around Academy Award winning, Academy nominated, Tony hosting individuals that are just so wonderful to work with, and then having this material with Darren and Jeffrey and all of the other writers, it was like a dream job for us.
Oh my God.
Really?
It's a little angrier in person.
I think the show is very different from Sex and the City because it's about this one character's very heightened emotional experience that I think is also very relatable to a big wide audience, because we've all been on one side or another of a breakup.
In terms of past work, this was certainly the most authentic version of a character of characters that I've ever written. Both Darren and I knew of long-term gay relationships, long-term, where one of the partners does what Colin does to Michael. And that seemed to us like a great launching point, jumping off place to start a romantic comedy, the lowest possible place you could come from.
We live in a really wonderfully progressive and yet example-filled life on camera now, where there's lots of people having lots of different relationships. So I felt like when we were doing same-sex erotic scenes and having, what are they called? A coach, the intimacy coordinator there. It didn't feel gay specific. It just felt like we were still telling the story that was needing to be told.
And it wasn't about the sex, it was about sometimes more the intimacy, or the comedy, or just knowing what was going to happen, that the rug was going to get pulled out from under him, but that the character and Neil was like literally just really going out on a limb all the time on the show.
100% committed.
I marveled at where we are in our world and our society, that was so secondary in my mind. It didn't feel like new ground was being broken. Mm-hmm. And yet by saying that, new ground was being broken, and I like that.
Are you offering me a pity three-way? Good luck, and thanks, I guess.